Hello, I'm Andy Halleck, Chairman of the Pawleys Litchfield Municipal Study Group. Thank you to all the citizens of the Lower Waccamaw Neck who have taken the time to open our messages and learn about the feasibility of incorporation, creating a new town on the Lower Neck. Why incorporation? We have watched for many years county government's complete disregard for the Lower Neck citizens' views on land use. Given this history, we believe incorporation is the only way to block the county's recently passed 10-year land use plan for the Waccamaw Neck and the Lower Neck in particular. In this video, using familiar examples, we will show you how this plan will transform the neck into something resembling Mount Pleasant, or perhaps creating Myrtle Beach South. The county's 10-year plan will allow the Lower Neck's present population of 16,400 to grow to approximately 25,000. Contrast that with the time period 2010 through 2020, when our population grew somewhat less than 4,000 people. The video begins with a presentation that maps the proposed land use changes on the Lower Neck. The remainder of the video will show potential changes now allowed by this plan to such areas as the Highway 17 corridor, the communities of Parkersville and Fraserville, the Hagley neighborhood, and surprisingly, the golf courses. As with all of our communications, we look forward to your thoughts and comments. Finally, we think incorporation comes down to two choices. The first is the county's vision and the plan it recently passed. It is the future reality. The other choice is incorporation, in which citizens who live on the Lower Neck obtain the capability to determine the future development strategy for the area in which they live. Shouldn't the people who live here make the final decision on what those changes will be?
Hi, my name is Cindy Person. I am a local attorney who focuses on land use and zoning law in Georgetown County. I have been asked to talk to you about the new comprehensive land use plan that was adopted by Georgetown County Council last month and how it will impact the Lower Waccamaw Neck. As a longtime resident of Pawleys Island, I have been paying very close attention to this land use plan update process because it serves as the foundation for the future development of our community. Over the years, poorly planned, haphazard development has taken its toll on the Waccamaw Neck. We are at a critical tipping point, and the folks who live here are well aware of that, even if the county turns a blind eye. As soon as the first draft of the land use plan was made public this past February, we had a team of local volunteer experts analyze every aspect of the plan. We are very fortunate to have dozens of folks in our community who volunteer their time and expertise as engineers, stormwater experts, land planners, GIS specialists, and much more. These folks are not paid. They are not tied to special interests. They have nothing to gain financially. They volunteer their time because they live here and they care about the future of our community. Our team found that the new plan substantially increases residential density on the Lower Waccamaw Neck, and I want to show you the facts supporting that conclusion. This is the new land use map for the Lower Waccamaw Neck that was just approved by Georgetown County Council last month as part of the new comprehensive land use plan. Our GIS mapping expert reviewed the new map parcel by parcel, compared it to the existing plan, and produced a map showing all the parcels of land that increased density under the new plan. The results were shocking. This is a blank map of the Lower Neck, and here is all the land that increases residential density under the new plan. The term residential density simply means the number of household units allowed per acre of land. So the higher the residential density, the greater the number of people, cars, and impervious surfaces permitted. The increases are shown in orange and red. The darker the color, the higher the density increase. Decreases are shown in green. Our expert then took the underlying data for these parcels, which would include the acreage and amount of increase, and calculated a very accurate, conservative estimate of the ultimate impact of this new plan on the Lower Waccamaw Neck. The plan allows 4,682 more households than the previous plan. This amounts to 11,330 more people. As a point of reference, the current population is 16,131, so this is a more than 50% increase. In addition to substantially increasing density, the other big difference is that this new plan changes our Highway 17 corridor from primarily commercial uses to allow high and medium density residential from Prince George to Brookgreen Gardens. This new residential use is not compatible with the current Waccamaw Neck corridor overlay zone, which contemplates primarily small businesses and attractive retail shops and restaurants. Our previous plan allowed no residential in areas designated commercial. The new plan will now allow up to 6, 8, or 12 residential units per acre along Highway 17, depending on the place type. As you can see, the highest concentration of increased density is between the North and South Causeway and from Martin Luther King south to Waverly Road and the adjacent neighborhoods in the heart of the Pawleys Island mainland. In addition, the new plan provides for 8 high-density hubs located at major intersections along Highway 17. These hubs consist of new land-use place types called Village Center and Community Mixed Use. From south to north, they will be at Founders, Hagley, South Causeway, True Blue, Pettigrew, Waverly, Parkersville, and North Litchfield. These hubs will allow high-density, mixed-use development with a residential density of up to 8 or 12 units per acre, depending on the place type. This increased density along Highway 17 spills over into the adjacent neighborhoods, much of which is in our traditional African American communities of Parkersville and Fraserville. Currently, this land is predominantly used for medium-density single-family homes. The new plan allows high-density, mixed-use, and multifamily. A significant amount of this land is heirs property, which means the most recent deed is in the name of a deceased person, sometimes 4 or 5 generations back. So the land is owned jointly by all the heirs of that person. Title is not clear, which makes it ripe for predatory development. Higher density means more profit for developers, and our new land use plan provides plenty of incentive for developers to seek out an unsuspecting heir, usually one from out of town, who may not even know he owns the land. The developer offers to buy the heir's small fractional share. At that point, the developer has his foot in the door and is able to start a court action to force the sale of the land, usually to the developer, displacing the heirs who have lived on the land for generations. In case you wonder how often this happens, take a ride down Pettigrew Drive and you will see this horrendous and heartbreaking situation playing out everywhere you look. Hagley is another area that has been drastically impacted by this new land use plan. Under the former plan, most of the land in the heart of Hagley was designated as low-density residential, which allows 2 houses per acre. Now most of the heart of Hagley has been changed to neighborhood residential, which allows up to 5 houses per acre. This is more than double the density. The future of our golf courses has also been a major concern for residents of the Lower Neck, as we have watched golf courses in neighboring Horry County being sold for housing developments. Founders Club, which is in the heart of Hagley, and Litchfield Country Club are particularly vulnerable because these 2 courses are already zoned R10, which allows medium-density residential development. Instead of keeping the private recreational designation from the old land use plan, which did not allow any residential development, the new plan opened the door by a designation that now allows some residential on these 2 golf courses. It is movement in the wrong direction, which is consistent with the entire plan for the Waccamaw Neck. Despite the fact that thousands of residents were actively opposed to this land use plan and hundreds showed up at multiple public meetings to speak out against it, the county forged ahead and approved it anyway. The land use plan is now a reality for residents of the Waccamaw Neck. We are very familiar with our county's land use policies, their history of development and zoning change approvals, and their frequent lack of enforcement of county ordinance violations. Residents of the Waccamaw Neck can expect the new land use plan to be acted upon by developers and approved by the county as quickly as they can get their acts together. This will include new high-density, multifamily, mixed-use residential development along the entire Highway 17 commercial corridor and adjacent neighborhoods, double residential density in the heart of Hagley, predatory development of heirs property in our traditional minority communities. Those who have studied the land use and development history of Myrtle Beach and Mount Pleasant understand that what this new land use plan allows on our Highway 17 commercial corridor follows the same path as those 2 communities. If this plan is built out, and it surely will be, Pawleys Island and Murrells Inlet will be unrecognizable in 10 years. Thank you for the opportunity to provide this presentation about the impact of our new comprehensive land use plan on the Lower Waccamaw Neck. Our numbers are based on a straightforward calculation of the difference between the maximum density allowed under the new plan versus the maximum density allowed under the previous plan. Andy, we want to thank you for the hard work your group is investing in studying the feasibility of the Waccamaw Neck taking control of its own land use and zoning. We look forward to hearing the details when they become available.
Thanks to Cindy for that new information on the 10-year comprehensive land use plan and its impact on the Lower Waccamaw Neck. As we consider what the future holds, let's take a look at where we've been. This is a time-lapse aerial video of the development our county has permitted in the Lower Neck from 1984 to 2022 under a comprehensive land use plan that did not allow nearly the level of high-density development that will now be permitted under the new plan. To orient you, the ocean is at the bottom. Brook Green Gardens is to the far right, and the south end of Pawleys is to the far left. This is an eye-opener, and now we have a new 10-year plan that will allow the county to increase population from 16,400 to approximately 25,000, a 50% increase. We know our Highway 17 commercial corridor is the area that will be most heavily impacted by this new land use plan. As you can see, there are still large tracts of land that could be developed. Under the old plan, these areas were set aside primarily for commercial use and did not allow residential. True to form, the county ignored the comprehensive plan, and when a developer presented a sweet deal that meant increased tax dollars, they approved medium and high-density residential and commercial areas. If that's what they did with a land use plan that allowed no residential in commercial areas, imagine what they'll do with a plan that permits high-density mixed use with 6, 8, and 12 units per acre. Who knows what exceptions the county will make for even higher density when the right proposal comes along. That means more tax dollars and big profits to a developer. Traffic congestion is already a serious problem. The changes to our corridor will be a key driver to traffic in our area becoming like Mount Pleasant or Myrtle Beach. Did you know 42,000 cars pass through the light at Martin Luther King and Highway 17 daily? As traffic on Highway 17 increases, local side roads such as Kings River Road, Pettigrew, and Waverly will become alternative routes, bringing traffic congestion into the local neighborhoods where people live. We have heard about how the new plan jeopardizes our traditional African American neighborhoods. A number of historical minority communities in Charleston have been wiped out due to the same kind of overdevelopment. Recently, Charleston has recognized the importance of these neighborhoods and started taking measures to protect them. The historical Phillips community is a recent example. Unfortunately, Georgetown County's land use strategy is aggressively moving our historical communities in the opposite direction. Hagley is one of the largest and oldest neighborhoods in the Lower Neck. Its development began in the 1960s and continues to this day. For decades, the land use plan permitted a maximum of 2 homes per acre in the heart of Hagley. Residents were happy with that. Under the new plan, the county has increased density to allow 5 homes on an acre. So now, 1 older home on an acre of land could be torn down and replaced with 5 new homes. An acre with 5 homes will generate more county tax dollars than that same acre with 1 or 2 homes. It will also be much more profitable for builders and developers. The future of our golf courses is a prime concern to Lower Neck residents who have seen courses being sold for housing developments in Horry County. We know that Litchfield Country Club and Founders are the 2 golf courses that are most vulnerable. Under the old plan, these courses were classified as private recreational, which did not allow any residential development. When the first draft of this new plan was released, instead of keeping the private recreational classification in the new plan, which could easily have been done, the county changed these 2 golf courses to neighborhood residential, which meant the courses could be sold and developed with 5 houses per acre without even requiring county approval for a zoning change or comprehensive plan map modification. There was major pushback, so the county relented and changed to conservation agriculture. Everyone was relieved because it was better than medium density residential. However, this new designation allows very low density housing, which the old plan did not. So the door has been opened slightly. Given the county's track record of land use decisions that disregard the comprehensive land use plan, the future of Litchfield Country Club and Founders golf courses is unknown. Other golf courses that are part of planned developments such as River Club, Tradition, Willbrook, and Polly's Plantation have an extra layer of protection, but they are not bulletproof in a county that has a history of ignoring the comprehensive plan and amending planned developments just for asking. Now that the new increased density, anything goes land use plan has been officially adopted, the stage has been set for dramatically increased density, which will permanently destroy the character of Pawleys Island. The question boils down to this. If you do not want this to become Mount Pleasant or Myrtle Beach South, our recourse is to unite as a community and take control of our own land use, planning, and zoning decisions. If we do not care about saving our community, then we do nothing.